you did have that video on single entries that covered a lot of the stuff there. We talked about kind of more of it here, but for those 3 max contests, Max or Danny, do you think it's still going to be a somewhat manual process at the end of it of kind of picking the lineups, because you don't need to just pick the exact top 3. You can kind of tinker a little bit from there without giving up much. But like in a 3 max contest, are you going to, like, would you do that? Would you just pick the top 3, or are you kind of find 3 that lineups that aren't very correlated to each other?
Do you want to take it, Max?
Well, I think it depends on how much time. Again, it's variance, time, profitability, right? Is how much time do you want to devote to this, of making a bunch of lineups and sort of like hand choosing the ones that you like, which is totally fine strategy, but it's just going to take a lot more work to make sure that you have the specific 3 entries you want. Or you can just set smart diversity very high and just trust that the lineup builder is going to make a diverse array of lineups. Make sure that it's high enough that you get 3 different QBs, things like that. I mean, I think in general, I usually don't worry too much about like really managing all my contest entries so they're spread out a lot, and like that I have the perfect 3 entries for a 3 max contest, and I have the perfect 5 for a 5 max, and the perfect 20 for a 20. I trust that the SaberSim builder is building me 3 good lineups, 5 good lineups, 20 good lineups, right? And I think, a lot of people get really micromanagey in a way that doesn't really add value. So I think personally for me, I just, the SaberSim builder builds the lineups. I'm saying the same things over and over again, but I'll just say it again. I'm working on projections. I'm working on ownership projections. SaberSim builder is doing the rest. I set the sliders to the settings I want depending on the contest, and that's all I do, right? So I think micromanaging, can feel rewarding when it works. It can feel terrible when it doesn't work, but in general, you can't manage your way to the perfect lineup. You just have to have some trust. And I think you can trust the lineup builder to make you quite good lineups, especially for these 3 and 5 max and 20 entry max contests.
Yeah, I think kind of elaborating on that a little bit, I guess, or kind of going in a different direction, it seems like we could also say that the more lineups you're entering in a contest, the more cost there is to tinkering.
Yeah.
If you start with a base from a lineup optimizer, from SaberSim, whatever, your top few lineups are all going to be like very solid. And if you choose the number 2 instead of number 1, number 3 instead of number 1, whatever, like you're probably not giving up too much. As you start entering more lineups in a contest and start kind of picking from all over the board, the risk that you're swapping out a plus EV lineup for a minus EV, or just giving up a lot of EV between the lineups, gets substantially higher. So it's kind of just, as you put in more and more lineups, you just want to be careful about the micromanaging, because the costs get a lot higher and you can realize those a lot faster. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think, another thing is just with like basketball, for example, like if you should be paying attention to the last second news, and if there is any, and to be prepared for that. I mean, a lot of times I make my lineups with like 5 minutes before lock. So, there's not time really to micromanage if you're paying attention to all the injury news.